Good morning, Brandon.
Well, for Cutie Pie Stephanie, she has requested the Matthew McConaughey, all right.
Oh. She did have a request.
Oh,
we had
thank
to
you.
give that to her since Thanksgiving's right around the corner.
It's funny. We have not. Did you Stephanie? Did you know what Brandon's history is? Do you know Obviously, you must know.
Yes, I saw the movie, so I kind of had a general idea.
Okay, and the movie was about Brandon. That's the.
I know.
Isn't that cool?
That is very cool. So
Yeah.
I had that request. I just love his voice, and I thought
Next week you'll have to do your Pacino, Brandon.
I've gotten my Forrest Gump is ridiculous.
All right, well, let's hear your Forrest Gump then.
My Forrest Gump is probably the best impersonation of Forrest Gump you'll ever hear. Like,
All right.
you'll actually think Forrest Gump is on the phone.
All right, then let's pretend.
So,
Here we go.
are you my Jenny? Those are your shoes. I bet you can walk all day in those shoes. My mama says you can tell a lot about someone by the shoes they wear, where they going, where they been. Lord knows I've worn a lot of shoes. Jenny, will you marry me? I may not be a smart man, but I know what love is. My mama says life is like a box of chocolates. You just never know what you're going to get.
That is good.
Brandon, good stuff.
That's how I met my wife, actually. As I met her, I did the Forrest Gump impersonation. She was laughing so hard because it's her favorite movie.
Yeah.
Invited her to dinner. She brought two friends. We hit it off. Proposed 22 days later. Been together 13 years.
Good for you.
Really?
Good
and
for
met her
you.
in Vegas at a nightclub.
How about that? And you guys are still there, still kicking. That's awesome.
Still fighting strong. But I tell you, it's work.
It is work. It is work. There is just no doubt.
This is the time of giving, and we're thankful, but women ain't easy. I'll say that much right
you
now.
just got to stay on the straight and narrow, boy, and that's
Yep.
not easy.
Happy wife, happy life. So
No
I'm
doubt.
stuck in Middleburg, Florida, because she's happy here.
There you go. Yeah.
I'd rather be in L.A. eating great sushi every day, but you know what? She's happy. She's near her parents, and I can travel a little bit.
Well, there you go. And that's winning right there, Brandon.
That's winning.
Yeah. All right, listen. Okay, so Thursday's games, of course, traditionally Dallas, Washington, Minnesota, Detroit, Pittsburgh, at Indianapolis. What are you thinking?
Well, it's funny. A lot of people tend to forget now that 3 years ago, the Lions had failed to cover on Thanksgiving 9 in a row. They were 0-9 the last 9 Thanksgiving, and here all of a sudden they've covered 3 straight. I just feel like this will blow you away. You may have heard it, but the Detroit Lions have trailed in the fourth quarter of every single game this year. And they're 6-4. So now you're asking them to lay a 2.5, 3 number. I just feel like, as much as I've been going against Minnesota, this is the game I'm going to stay away from, but I just feel like Minnesota is going to cover that game, that you can't keep trailing, especially against their defense. It's playing really, really well. And Dallas, Washington, I mean, Dallas was -7 against the Ravens. They'd covered 8 in a row, and they get the ball with 8 minutes to go, up 7, and go on a drive to get down to the 2-yard line and kick a covering field goal with 2 minutes and 9 seconds to go. Do you go against that? Yes, I do. I think Kirk Cousins is on fire, and I don't think Dallas has faced a quarterback this hot all year long. So I'm going to take Washington plus the 7.5.
Wow. And I want to ask you, too, because, so many factors play a role in the outcome of a game. This being on Thanksgiving Day, does that act as a bit of a wild card? It's a special game. Does it change anything?
Well, it's a short week, and, you get to this point in the season, you're a little leery about teams playing on 3 days. When you talk to NFL players who have played in the league and they play that Thursday night game, it's such a physical game that your body needs time to recover. And to take away those extra 3 days you get before kickoff at 1 o'clock or 4 o'clock or 8 o'clock, is some guys are still limping around. Some guys are, we don't realize, we watch it on TV, the physicality of this game.
Yeah.
And so on a short week traveling, sometimes it's just one team is a little more fresh than the other based on how physical their game was the week before. Now, there wasn't much hitting going on in Washington, Green Bay. There was more scoring going on by Washington. But the Dallas-Baltimore game was a pretty physical, pretty big hitting ball game. So I think that negates it. But with the way Washington's playing, Dallas is getting all the pub. But this is a Washington team that, since they lost to Pittsburgh, they lost their first two out of the box. And in this division, Dallas has gotten all the pub in the world. They lost to Pittsburgh, and they lost at home to Dallas. They've won every single game with the exception of the tie to Cincinnati where their field goal kicker missed a chip shot that could have won it. And they were beating Detroit 17-13 with a minute to go before Stafford went down and scored. Or you'd be looking at a Washington team that's won every single game since their 0-2 start. So I think they're the two hottest teams in the NFL, and you can't pass up the 7 points. Pittsburgh, Indy.
Great game.
I don't think you can touch that game. The line now, I believe, has been adjusted to 8.5 because Andrew Luck's not playing. So you got Scott Tolzien going.
Is that's for sure? He's not playing.
He's not playing. So right now, Vegas has the line at Pittsburgh -9. Now here's something amazing. Here's what Andrew Luck means to Indianapolis. It's the biggest. It's more of a jump than the Patriots and Tom Brady. Indianapolis was a 2.5-point home favorite. Without Andrew Luck, Pittsburgh's a 9-point road favorite. He's worth 11 points to the Colts.
Wow.
That's unbelievable, yeah.
Hey, I want to take you to the weekend just quickly. Jacksonville at Buffalo, Giants at Cleveland, and the Jets are hosting New England.
I believe both teams are going to score some points. Jacksonville scoring points. They've outgained every opponent this year but one. So we're going to go over the posted total in that game. Sexy Rexy's got that Buffalo offense playing pretty well. And what was the other game?
The other Giants at Cleveland.
I tell you, as much as you want to take a home dog, they're bad. They're really bad. I always say you go against Eli as a favorite, but I think you lose with the Giants before you take a shot with Cleveland.
And I'm not even going to touch the Jets New England game. How about this though, Brandon? We talked about with all this controversy, Kaepernick there kneeling for the national anthem. People are boycotting the NFL. How's it going to affect TV ratings? The latest ratings are out this week, and in the top 20 TV programs for the week, the NFL Green Bay Washington game is number 1. The Sunday night NFL pregame show is number 5. Number 6 is NFL New Orleans at Carolina on NBC. The 10, 11, and 10 and 11 also. So in the top 11, there's like 5 NFL games. It's the numbers are huge.
I think we can put to rest that the NFL is ever going to be in trouble with anything in the American society. 2 reasons: gambling, fantasy football. And it's never going to go away.
Yeah, that's interesting, too.
And I think with Trump in office, wouldn't surprise me if in his 4 years we're going to see a push for gambling to make it legal in the United States of America.
Boy, I got to tell you, I think that would be a positive. What kills me is there is, and you have, like for instance, in New York State, gambling is really not illegal in the United States. It's a statewide issue. So gambling legal in the United States. But in New York, it, of course, is against the law. And I just hate this every year, Super Bowl time. The state comes in. The feds are taking their money. They're going to take their cut on the taxes from every bookie in New York State. Mm-hmm. But the feds will come in and whack them and take them for $50,000. I just think that is just criminal in itself.
They did a research, $5 billion in tax revenue that we're missing out on if you legalize gambling.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but our country could use $5 billion a year, and maybe more, based on we're allowing offshore sports books to take money away from what this country could use. Christie pushed forward in New Jersey and lost. He's Trump's right-hand man. He's got his ear. Trump's a gambler. I caddied for Trump. Man loves to gamble, and it wouldn't surprise me at all. And it would be good for the United States.
All right, Brandon, good stuff. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving, and it's BrandonLang.com.
That's it, guys. Thanksgiving to you, too.
Thanks, man. I do want to say he's a little off there because gambling is legal in the United States. Trump really cannot do anything to make it legal in New York. State issue. So I'm not sure Trump can. I'm not sure Trump can do anything on that. But And I don't see any legalization coming in New York. For God's sakes, it's a shocker that we have UFC legal in New York State. But we'll see, I guess. We'll see. Got a break coming back at WIBX.